Watch your asses. Reports show hunters are in the area.
Copy.
Hunters were spotted in this area. Stay alert.
Watch your asses. Reports show hunters are in the area.
Watch your asses. Reports show hunters are in the area.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video on the channel. As Factions approaches its 10-year anniversary, I can't help but think to myself, is it really an anniversary that we should be proud of? Is it really a celebration? 10 years? 10 years of this game's existence and all that it has become. And in those 10 years, it has changed so dramatically that I couldn't have as many minutes in the day that I would need to even describe 1% of those changes. It's a curious word, that, isn't it? Change. It's something that happens all the time, often without us thinking about it, and yet most of us seem so ignorant to such a change. Today's video is one that I've been wanting to make for a while, but have resisted the urge to do so for many, many reasons. I have been reluctant and apprehensive to put my thoughts together to make this video because I worry about the consequences of my machinations. As I sit here and I think about all the things that I'm going to discuss in this purposefully slow and considered monologue, I don't have a script in front of me. I don't have anybody helping me to write any notes down or draw up great big maps or bring any paragraphs of information out from any sheets of paper. No. This is just a raw and unedited, unfiltered thought process and a hope that it might get through to even one person. Most of my subscribers and probably the community at large will never even come close to seeing this video, let alone listening to it and processing it and watching it all the way through, or more aptly, listening to it. There are no fancy editings here. There are no filters, no silly music, just pure Last of Us footage, and that is all. Now, the first concern that comes to my mind is where to begin. there is so much that I feel needs to be addressed at this present time. So let me start with the most obvious thing, and that is us. That is our community, our factions community. I care deeply about this factions community, and if I may say, I feel that I am an integral part of this community, its function, and as a content creator, I understand that I have a great responsibility to conduct myself in a manner that is befitting a representative of such a community. However, what I am about to say, and all of the things that I have subsequently said up until this point, not just in this video, but in any other monologue style video such as this, I want to put out there that this is just a game, and it's not reality, it's not life. So it's so important to keep that in the back of one's mind when listening to this content. So back to my original question, where to begin? Well, if any of you are seasoned players or new players and you have taken a deep dive into the factions public lobbies, probably in the last 18 to 24 months, so going back a couple of years, you will know that it is a place full of the so-called sweats, tryhards, people who play the game very regularly, as I do, are very competitive, and are the ones still keeping this game alive. But those same people are also the ones that are bringing our community down. They are the people who are manifesting drama, spreading hatred, and showing a complete lack of respect for anybody but the 4 people who think that they're really important, that they play with on a daily basis. There are swathes of players in this community who spend all of their time on factions playing in a full party, and they completely destroy most lobbies that they're playing with because they play against people who are either not in a party or who are clearly less skilled players. Being a quite experienced factions player, I have a pretty good idea of most players in this game, and that includes playstyles and personalities and groups. And I can't quite help but feel that there is an unwritten rule, an unwritten code amongst high-level players that when you see each other in lobbies, you avoid, you dodge. And this is not out of any kind of respect. No. What this comes down to is a desire for inherently easier lobbies. People do not want to take the difficult path. They don't want to face the most difficult tasks. No. Instead, they would rather prey on all the HBO players who have recently joined the game. Now, anyone who's watched my channel for any length of time will know that I often get so-called HBO bots on my team. And I'll be the first to admit that I have complained and moaned that these players are always on my team and that I end up losing matches because even though I drop high amounts of downs, I am hampered by my teammates. And that is true to say. And I sincerely apologise to anybody who feels that that level of conduct is not appropriate. But let me tell you this. What you see from me is a genuine reaction to a situation. Okay? I see myself as somebody who is quite authentic, doesn't put on a personality for the streams. There's an old phrase over here in the UK, what you see is what you get. And for my part, I believe that's true. I believe that I have put a lot of work in, a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of effort into building a community on this channel that is founded in respect, courteousness, intellectualism, and many other things. I'll be the first to say that I don't always get it right. I don't always make the right decisions. And although you don't see it, I do reflect on these things. I do think about these things. And in all honesty, I do understand the importance of making changes. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I've got all the answers. I'm not going to sit here and waste your valuable time telling you that I'm never going to do these things again, because that would be a lie. And the reason that would be a lie is because we're all human and we all make mistakes all of the time. But again, what I'm saying here is nothing new. Everybody knows these facts. But so why am I saying them to you? I'm saying them to you because it seems like we've strayed away from these thoughts, these actions of respect, of courtesy, and of appreciation for the true beauty that is factions. What I see is a fractured community of self-serving individuals, many of whom are happy to prey on new players who, let's face it, are the beating heart of a community, because they are the next generation, if you like, of players to rediscover this game for the first time. Think about the first time you discovered this game. For me, that was on June 17th, 2013, so almost 10 years ago. And I remember discovering this game for the first time and the absolute beauty that befell me. And for me to deprive somebody else of that pleasure would be grossly unfair and completely inappropriate. And yet, there are so many people in this community that will do just that. I'm not here to lecture you about using certain weapons. We all know that shorties, tacticals, covert are the hallmarks of any lobby. But these perks are not inherently the issue. The issue is the attitudes and values of the people who use them. The issue is that we are constantly facing these problems and that they are not going away. Using what is considered to be meta items doesn't make you the best player. It doesn't even make you a good player. It just makes you somebody that knows what these metas are. And that's it. Through experience, we gain knowledge of what is considered to be meta, or most effective tactic available. And that is an advantage to being an experienced player. You know all the tricks of the trade. Map knowledge, spawn knowledge, weapon knowledge, everything. Even down to the minutest details, such as character callouts. But in our fervent quest to seek comfort and ease, it seems that every player, veteran or casual alike, has taken to using these covert, tactical, shorty and other meta loadouts to simply just compete with all the other people before them who have been doing exactly the same thing. And all the while, we paper over the cracks, the fractures, in a vain attempt to deny the reality. And the reality is that we are dying of a terminal illness. Now, I don't use those words lightly, and I don't mean to make a mockery of such words. But what I mean to say is that we are, in my view, at a point of no return. And there are not enough adjectives in the English language to sufficiently describe the pain and the anguish that I feel about the direction in which we're headed. So in all this time, I haven't even touched on the subject of cheaters. And this is something that is, in my view, completely destroying the game for everyone. Now, I would like to preface this by saying that I'm aware that I know how to crab walk, and I am aware that I have done it, and I do it, and it's not something that I'm proud of, and I am trying to break that habit. But I don't condone cheating. You know, I don't think it's right, and particularly the rapid fire, the wall shooting, the map glitching, the out of bounds, the spawn killing with the bomb glitch. All these things, these game breaking mechanics are completely destroying the experience for new and seasoned players alike. And what's worse is that these cheaters take pride in what they do. They take pride in ruining the game for others and deriving their pleasure out of causing the maximum amount of displeasure to others. Whatever happens, fair play and respect and a bit of competition. I don't have too much to say on this topic because, frankly, it speaks for itself. But it wouldn't be a reflection like this without such a mention. Back in February of 2021, the Last of Us strategist, or Tstrat as he's known to many people, posted a fireside chat video. That video was over 34 minutes long, and in my view was one of the most well edited, most well thought out and considered pleas of any man I have known in this community. He poured his heart out to everyone in the community and implored people to take heed of his warning. And to say we haven't taken heed of that warning is an understatement. On that day in February 2021, Tstrat shoved a mirror in our faces, and we shattered it, and we fractured it, and we walked away. And that is the point at where we are at right now. We are at a point where every lobby, every game, every player has a dark side. Whether that be preying on noobs, teabagging, trash talking, exposing, clout chasing, whatever it might be, it has now got to a point where it is so bad that I almost don't want to come back some days. But I'm also a realist. I'm also a realist in the sense that I understand that this game is nowhere near perfect. We as a community are nowhere near perfect. And I don't expect there to be any change. It is what it is, as some people might say. And that's true. But what about people who have hope and have good intentions and want the best for the community? What about those people? Well, I say to you, stick with me. And I say that in the most sincere sense that I possibly can convey on this video. I say, please stick with me, because I need you. I need you more than you realise. Now, you haven't come here to listen to me talk about all the things in the factions community that people are already aware of. I'm just merely pointing out what most people know to be true. So let me share with you now some insights that are specifically to do with myself and the channel that I've created. So people often ask me, where does the name Six come from? And it's not something I often talk about because it's very personal and I am quite a private individual and I don't tend to share a lot with people. But let me let you into this little bit of information. When I was a baby, I had some complications with my health, which required me to have some hospital surgery very soon after my birth. And as I approach my 25th birthday, I reflect on this and think how fortunate I am to be sat here today, even making this video and doing all the things that I've done in the last quarter of a century. I'm incredibly humbled to be able to have that opportunity, because I almost didn't make it 5 times. But for some reason, something or someone out there gave me a 6th chance, and that was apparently the one that was needed for me to pull through. There are other less personal reasons why I am called Six online. Anybody that knows my playstyle will know that I enjoy shivving, and it's my hallmark, if you want to call it that. And most of the shivs that I have performed are, of course, getting people from behind. So that brings me nicely onto my playstyle, me as a player, and me as a content creator. I have been the subject of some terrible abuse recently. And it's abuse from unknown sources, people hiding on unnamed accounts, and I've been the target of a torrent of abusive messages, abusive comments on my videos, and on other social media platforms such as Reddit, and also on the other sub-factions communities. Now, I don't share this with you because I want sympathy. I don't share this with you because I want you to feel sorry for me or anything like that. As a content creator, I understand that one has to put themselves out there and that they are open to criticism. But let me tell you this. The easiest thing to do is to criticize other people's work. The easiest thing to do is to think, I can do it better. And you're probably right in some respects. I'm not the best video editor. I'm certainly not the best player. But I think I do a good job. And if I may say, I certainly don't think I deserve some of the treatment that I've recently had. I've also had people ask me, well, you wouldn't get such good scores if you were playing in parties allowed. Or if you were playing against good players, then you wouldn't get such good scores. And that's most likely true. But I can also tell you that in the 10 years that I've played this game, there isn't much that I haven't done. There isn't much that I haven't achieved. And I don't say that arrogantly, but I put it to you that I've spent 10 years mastering my craft on this game, if you like. And I feel that my knowledge of this game is quite good. And some of the things I have done on this game, I have not seen other people do. So, let me say this. I have not got anything to prove to anybody. I am not going to sit and lose sleep over some banal comments about my channel, myself, and others. I would defend what I do on my channel because I know that it's genuine and it is meaningful. And if you are somebody that doesn't like what I do, then I'm afraid that you need to find something else to do. Because a lot has changed. But sometimes some things are better left unchanged. And like I said before, what you see is what you get. And that is not something that will change. I want to finish this segment of the video on a positive note and say that I want to thank every single person who has supported my channel since it was created in 2018. And having recently hit 1k subs, I'm incredibly grateful for the continued support. And without people like you who have been supporting me, it wouldn't be the channel it is today. I may not be the biggest, I certainly may not be the best, but what I feel like I do is just enough for now. But I do recognise the need to reflect, to change, to continue to improve, and that is something that I shall strive to do. I say this because I want to reiterate where I am at the moment as a content creator. Because I've noticed a perceptible change in my demeanour as it gets more and more difficult to play this game, put out content, and make it enjoyable for you guys to watch and for me to play. This game is in a sorry state at the moment, and sometimes my reactions to situations reflect that sentiment. But you can expect me to stay. I'm not going anywhere. And I will continue, as I have been, to stream weekly and to regularly upload to my channel, which is not something that many people can say that they are doing. So before you throw your views out there, throw your opinions out there, please take time to consider that. I've spent much of this video so far talking about the current state of factions and my own conduct in regards to my channel. And I've shared a personal story or two around some things that I have experienced. Let me now share with you another perspective and another experience that is to do with the wider community that I operate in, that being my channel. And some observations that I have taken note of recently. I have had a number of my community members reach out to me recently with some rather disturbing messages about how they are unable to return to my streams for some time because of the manner in which they've been treated by other people. Now, I'm in no position to lecture you about how to lead your life. And I certainly can't control what it is that you do or say. And I would never seek to, because that would be a futile activity. But what I can do is elucidate my expectations of the conduct of my members and viewers on my channel. Because I say in no uncertain terms that the messages I've received have been a cause of great sadness for me, given that my intention with my content is to include everybody, and it doesn't matter of their background, ethnicity, nationality, whatever it might be. Every single person who brings some value to my channel and our channel is welcome. So it pains me to think that there are people out there in the factions community who claim to support my channel and those of other people's, and then they ruthlessly go about throwing out personal attacks, vitriolic hatred, and generally causing drama where it is most certainly not welcome. So let me be very, very clear. I will tolerate no such behaviours. I will not allow such conduct to take place. It is not up to me how one conducts themselves outside of my sphere of influence, but I feel the need to address this point in the context of my own streams and my own content. I am all for constructive criticism, but vicious and vile personal attacks are not appropriate and not welcome, and frankly, they are completely unnecessary. As an adult community, we should all strive for better, to conduct ourselves in a more appropriate manner. Sometimes I sit on the fence, and I don't mean an actual fence, I speak of a metaphorical fence. And sometimes people will ask me for opinions, and I won't always share my opinion. And they'll say to me, "Why do you sit on a fence?" And I'll say, let me say this to you. I sit on a fence and I might get splinters in my arse, but I get a damn good view of a situation, and specifically people in that situation. And I'm a regular viewer of people's live streams and people's content. And I have to be honest, the conduct that I've recently seen on some of these live streams has been absolutely shameful. Absolutely shameful indeed. And the conduct, the attention seeking, the personal attacks, and this is not just on my channel but on others as well, and the criticism has been plain to see. And it shows what people's true intentions are. And those true intentions come as a consequence of their actions. plain reality of the matter is this. This attention seeking, this clout chasing, this need for constant approval is futile. And it's futile because the amount of attention, the clout, is trivial. And it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things that are going on in the world. Factions is a microcosm within a niche. What I mean to say by that is, it is a tiny speck of something within a tiny speck of something else. You imagine a single grain of sand on a beach. That is what factions is. So all these people with inflated egos, chasing their 5 minutes of fame, need to really sit and reflect on their conduct and their decision making, and realise that this is not reality. This is not what we should be thinking about day to day. So what if you're good at this game? So what if you've played competitive? Doesn't make you the best player. It just makes you a skilled player and a competitive player. And there's nothing wrong with that. But this idea that people who have played on the competitive scene for years are the best players is not strictly true. Because if you think about the inherent nature of those matches, many of the mechanics that the game relies upon are banned. Because they are ways for other players to get a one-up on more skilled, more advanced players. That is the inherent need for those perks. And so those players with great gun skill, there's no doubt about it, set up these matches, and then they claim to be the best shot, the best players. And all this is great, except what you come to realise is that when they get into the public lobbies, they are constantly complaining. They are constantly putting others down. And in their quest to make themselves, in their own mind, feel adequate, they will do anything and everything to get what it is that they seek. And that is attention and approval. And it's not just the competitive community. It's not just the public lobbies. But it's people on the subreddits. It's people on the live streams. And it's people on video comment sections who do nothing but bring others down to make themselves feel better. I want to finish by leaving you with this last message. I've spoken to you about many things on this chat. And it's been a long chat, but it has been a video that's been a long time coming. If you've remembered anything I've said at all, then it's been a success. Let me leave you with this final message. Leo Tolstoy once said, "Everyone wants to change the world, but no one thinks of changing themselves." And it's very true, isn't it? Because ultimately we are the people responsible for our actions and our conduct. And we are the ones that are the arbiters of change in our own lives. We are the architects of our own suffering, but also of our own improvement. So, if you are somebody who is dedicated to respect, to decency, to morality, and to being a serious individual about making positive changes to your conduct, then I welcome you to my community with open arms. I thank you for listening, and please take some time to process and consider today's message. As with every video, I will leave this up for all to view, and you can come back to it anytime you feel you need to. We are stronger together. That is a fact. Thank you for listening. Thank you.